Welcome to the Mining Your Business podcast, a show all about process mining, data science, and advanced business analytics. I am Patrick, and with me, as always, my colleague Jakub. Hey, Jakub.
Hey, Patrick.
Today's episode is all about what it takes to start a process mining business, the future of process mining consulting, and the struggles along the way. Joining us today is Thomas Kerschbaumer from Processand.
Patrick, thank you for the nice introduction as usual. And I'm very excited about our today's guest, who is a person who I've personally been working for almost 3 years. He's our bread giver, and I'm very, very happy to welcome to our podcast Thomas Kerschbaumer. Hey, Thomas.
Hi, Jakub. Hi, Patrick. Excited
Thomas,
to be here.
I'm very happy that you're here, and I'm very honored that you are one of our first guests in our podcast. Well, actually, the first guest in our podcast. So, Thomas, tell us something about yourself. What is your background, and how did you end up in process mining, Thomas?
Interesting question. I'm head of delivery and co-founder of Processand, and my background is a consulting background, right? So I did economics before, then I came to Munich. I'm originally from Italy. I came to Munich and I started my career at at Celonis before, and with that move, I came into the topic, right? And I ended up here. In the process mining field at the end.
Okay, so what was the actual motivation behind starting your own company?
Starting the own company was a kind of, I was thrown in the situation, let's say. I co-founded Processand with Andreas Klötzl, and back then when we started, one of the most genius mathematicians joined us as well, Nicolas. And we all worked before at Celonis, right? Celonis, the global market leader in process mining technology. And together, we did a lot of proof of concept projects within Celonis to show the customer which value process mining could bring to their business. And after some time, we saw that the customers we worked with during a pilot phase are struggling kind of with building up a whole process mining initiative alone. And exactly there we saw a kind of market gap, since Celonis is a software company rather than a consulting company. We said, oh, hey, let's go out there, let's jump into the market and help enterprises to be successful with their process mining journey. And some months later, we founded Processand. And in fact, many companies appreciated this kind of support we gave them. And so we started out working immediately together with big enterprises already, like the German railway company Deutsche Bahn, or also the Swiss telco company Swisscom. And in fact, they are still our customers today.
Right. I think we will dig deeper into the problematics of the consulting itself very soon. But before we do that, I just wanted to quickly stop by the fact that you said you were not alone when you were starting the company.
Exactly.
So who did you start it with? And I would also be wondering, how did you manage the role? So what are you actually doing, or what were you doing back then, and what are you doing now?
Yeah. You mean my personal role?
Yeah, and also of your co-founders.
Mm-hmm. So within Celonis, co-founders, let's say Andreas was a data scientist there as well. I worked more in the business development part. Nicolas was back then a working student at Celonis and gained massive insights into different fields there. And when we went out to Processand, to found Processand at the end, the challenge at the beginning was really how can we support our customers from a general perspective, right? They want to establish process mining somehow, but they don't have the expertise. They don't know how to approach the whole initiative. And that was exactly the entry point. And therefore, initially, we worked strongly, very tight with the customer to establish the process mining initiative within the enterprise. And then we extended this initiative step by step, right? That was the kind of door opener, which worked out pretty good. Also, other customers said, okay, we build up a very good example. Now let's do the same within our enterprise.
Mm-hmm. Right. And you are doing, what is your role at the moment? So I think we are already we are over 25 people with our company.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume that the roles has changed slightly since the beginnings. So what is it that you do today?
That's true. At the beginning, of course, I work deeply into each project. Today, since we are, as you said, roughly 30 people now, the kind of work is going to change a little bit, but I'm still so I try to stick the needles together, let's say. I'm trying to have a strong customer relationship still, since the customer is one of our central element within the company. I want to understand or get a better understanding from a top level perspective. How do we proceed? How can we optimize our implementation process? How can we support the customer more from a strategic perspective? And so my work changed slightly, let's say, from typical project management and to more strategic point of view. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So switching gears now, you said you kind of fell into the process mining founding company, but why specifically process mining and not any other type of consulting? Is it just a general interest, or what led you to process mining specifically?
Probably because we've been able to build up a certain knowledge that was not present on the market, right? So you need a kind of track record on the market that also a customer says, okay, I want work with you because you are expert in the field. And back then, we've been really the experts in that field. There have been not that many process mining softwares on the market, only a few. And neither there was a lot of consulting companies offering process mining services. And that was more or less the hint to go exactly into this gap, because the knowledge is pretty deep. So the knowledge you need, you know it, in order to build up a successful process mining initiative is massive. You need that. We had that, and on the market it was rare, and therefore we said that's exactly the point we have to jump in.
Thomas, I have a question regarding this. So when you were starting, you were 3 people.
Yeah.
How did you persuade huge corporations who usually deal only with huge consulting companies that have thousands or tens of thousands of employees across the globe? How did a company of 3 persuade huge consulting companies to work with them on the process mining projects?
That's an interesting question. Probably looking back, I would say we've always been very flexible, right? And the customers knew, okay, I'm going to invest in something new. I'm going to invest in a technology we never tried out before. I'm going to bring up some money, right, to buy the software license, and I need some kind of consulting service. And in order to succeed with this project, I need somebody which is flexible, who knows what he's doing, and which is doing exactly this I want to have, right? And typically, the bigger consulting companies, you know how it is. They are a kind of supermarket. You can buy carrots and fruits and bottled water, whatever. And it's the same thing with the consulting companies. You can buy their consulting services for management consulting, IT consulting, whatever. And they are also trying to sell those kind of services. And the customers back then understood, okay, I don't need a supermarket. I need a specialized shop which is selling me exactly that what I need and nothing else. And that was what we've been doing. So we sold to the customer a successful process mining journey. And we've been experts in doing that. And that was what the customer wanted. And with this argument, we've been able to do the deal at the end as well.
Did Celonis help you at the beginnings? Like, I know that you know the founders, especially at the beginnings. You used to be a smaller team. I don't know how many employees were there where you were beginning. I can assume or imagine that you were the size of company that we are today.
Exactly.
Did you have any kind of support from the Celonis itself in terms of having customers approach you because they were too overloaded and you basically took the job for them?
As well. Also, that was a part of the lead generation, let's say, and that was also one very important topic because Celonis, it's at the end, it's as I mentioned before, it's a software company and not a consulting company. Therefore, they didn't build up that many consulting resources because at the end, that's not really scalable, right? And therefore, of course, they asked us also, look, there we have a quite complex customer. Could you cover that customer? Because it's highly individualized and you have a specialization on that. Can you cover this customer? That happened as well. That's true.
Right. So switching gears again, I want to move to more specifically process mining. So why process mining and why not any other business intelligence?
In general, you have to say that business intelligence, there are a lot of consulting companies working on this field already, right? They established those departments already 10 years or 15 years ago. Typically, the typical SAP consulting houses, for example, they established BI departments already many years ago. And that was not our field. And there's a clear distinguishment between business intelligence and process mining, right? You have to separate those two fields. And you're able to do business intelligence, but process mining is a totally different approach, right? You need a totally different way of thinking. And therefore, we said, let's do not business intelligence. Let's jump into the process mining market because there you have a certain barrier, market barrier from the technical point of view.
If you compare those two, do you think that there are some pros and cons between starting a process mining company and compared to starting a business intelligence company? So if you imagine that you started a business intelligence company as a whole, would it have some perks, or what do you think was better to actually have this process mining company, and what are in general some good things about that, and some, on the other hand, on some cons?
Yeah, probably. Let's say it's more a unique selling point decision, right? Doing rather a process mining consultancy than a BI consultancy. It's more about the USP. The unique selling proposition we had was exactly the main knowledge we had in this field. And doing that, of course, is one big cons we are still facing today. And that's from a management point of view. It's really hard to find smart and motivated people that are able to cover 360 degrees of our job requests. So that's definitely one critical point in this business. Because the process mining knowledge on the market is still pretty slim, right? There are not a lot of companies doing process mining. They're racing. There are coming up quite a lot of new ones. But people-wise, it's still not that much. Instead of business intelligence people, you have quite a lot in the market because it's already an established industry, let's say.
Right. So, based on this unawareness, let's say, and the history of process mining, can you judge roughly where you see process mining heading in the future?
Mhm. I think it's going to be a crucial part in the future for any enterprise. I don't say that just because we are in this business. I really believe in the technology. That means we looking at our customers. The cool thing is to see that the customers come back to us, request new services because they see, okay, the technology brings really value into our process decisions, and that will be will be more established in the future. So process mining had also a kind of journey, right? Since some years ago, customers have been happy to say, okay, now we have a certain kind of transparency into our processes, and I'm fine with that. Today, that's not enough anymore, right? They need the transparency, but they need also the decision at the end. So, okay, I have the transparency, and what do I have to do next, right? And there we are exactly today. That means we help based on process mining data doing decisions, right? For example, we are dealing with a customer right now where we do a kind of duplicate payment checker to avoid duplicate payments, and he's saved already more than €500,000 and building up not only a reporting that gives him the information. Look, you lost or you made €500,000 duplicate payment. We go back in the operative system, right, and say immediately, look, you're going to pay out a certain amount of money, but check it again because that's going to be paid twice, right?
Right.
And therefore, I say this is definitely going to be the future, and it will be. There are a lot of new applications coming up, also driven by Celonis, let's say, that help enterprises to act proactively.
Right. So we have technology coming in from Celonis. We have our own knowledge and experience helping customers understand their business better. And we also have initiatives from customers, what they want to see in the process mining space. And everybody is just kind of discovering new ways to use this approach to their business. So is the idea that we take consulting along with the customer on this journey?
Definitely. The customer at the end is one of our most valuable asset, right? And we serve customers all over the world, here in Germany, Switzerland, Portugal, Spain, in the US, in Saudi Arabia, and also in the Far East. I would say we are very customer focused as well. And coming back to your point, our offering is strictly aligned on the real need the customer has. So we do not build up any services that are nice to sell. Everything we do has to have a certain impact or value to the customer. To give you one example, is the establishment of our value generation consulting department, right? This department focuses only on how does the customer extracts business value out of the process mining initiative. Therefore, we to put definitely the customer in the centric decision of the company and build up the process mining initiative based on the customer needs.
So in other words, we are the best consulting company. Please work with us.
Absolutely.
Definitely, everybody is saying that of himself, of course. But I think we have a certain USP. Not only the knowledge, not only the customer which trusts in our service, but also about the people, right? People at the end, and that's also something probably, let's say, a standard phrase. But when you break it down to the bone, it's really about the people. We work with data, but behind the whole data set are people again. And it's really a people's business. At the end, we have to build bridges between data, IT, technology, and the business itself, right? And therefore, it's always this bridge we have to build. And why do I think we are one of the best? It's not only the size of the company, because having 30 people doing process mining is not only big, and this year we are going to grow another huge step, but it's really about the knowledge and the people at the end. And I have to say that I'm really happy about this fact that here in Processand we probably have one or some of the smartest guys on the market. We have a strong mix of different nationalities and languages. We are headquartered in Munich and have offices in Taiwan and the US, which allows us to be strongly international. And also from a gender perspective, thinking on that, we have a 1/3 woman quota. So having a great mix of different personalities and skill sets within the company is really a crucial part.
We are a very diverse bunch. That is true.
True.
That's true. And if you think about that, being a woman in a man-dominated field means they have to be tough, right? And it's not only about the IT sector. Jakob, think back. You are also one of the first employees of the company. And when you remember back initially, we had also only men on board, right?
That is true.
When first women came in, the situation changed completely. Somehow the guys tried to be friendlier. They put nicer clothes. The whole communication became friendlier. So you see, the constellation of the team at the end is a very, very important topic.
Yeah, so diversity impacts positive change.
Definitely.
Thomas, where are we actually heading as a company, if it's not a secret?
So our goal is to be the global market leader in process mining technology consulting, right? And in order to be that, we don't have to be only worldwide active. Today, we have 3 offices around the world to cover all time zones in the world. But we have to extend our knowledge as well. And therefore, to build up our knowledge, we have also some technologies in our portfolio as well, which helps to build up a more efficient data analytics initiative within the enterprise, right? So slightly, we are becoming a hybrid company between consulting and software business, because we really help the customer to extend the value he gains out of the business analytics initiative.
Mm-hmm. So if you had to, give advice to someone starting out in the industry, either as an applicant or someone in a company looking at process mining for the first time, what would you tell them?
I would tell him, go out, talk to the customer, and gain the knowledge you need to build up an initiative. That's probably the most important thing. Listen to the customer, what his pain points are, and based on these pain points, build up your process mining strategy, and that's the most important thing.
Mm-hmm. Thomas, would you do something differently in leading the process mining company as a consulting company, knowing what you know now?
Probably a lot of things.
Please elaborate.
Yes.
No, it's absolutely true, because you do so many mistakes over the time, right? And probably one of the biggest mistake is giving up responsibilities too late, right? That's one of the key mistake I did, I would say. because having those smart people on board means that they are able to do everything, right? They are even able to do the things much better than yourself, right? And that's probably one thing I have to work on myself dramatically. I tried to convert myself already several times over the time, but there are still coming up new things. We have to change. We have to reinvent ourselves each half a year again, and therefore probably we can do another podcast session about mistakes, because that probably will take 2 or 3 hours.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to that episode. So if we cast a wider net into the past, would you choose any other industry if you had the chance, or would you keep with process mining?
So looking at the market, there are a lot of fields where which are turning around, a lot of initiatives or strategies, or also softwares which build up a huge potential right now, right?
Mhm.
Therefore, I think it's not only the process mining field where I would jump in. It's more that we've been there and we saw the chance to do something out of this. But definitely, look, there are so many companies, software companies out there, which deliver a huge impact to the companies or the enterprises of this world. And I think there are a lot of chances. I have chosen this for process mining. We will see what the future brings, but it will be definitely one main category in the future where we have our fingers in.
Thomas, what is the key for a success for a process mining consulting company?
I think the key for success is probably what I tried to mention before. You need the right people. You need the knowledge, and you need your own development based on this knowledge. That means, for example, look at our advanced analytics team. They work closely with the customers on advanced analytics initiatives based on process mining. So we try to do something out of the knowledge we have. I think that's one of the main success criteria. Making use of the knowledge we have and building new functionalities, new methodologies, and new use cases out of this new know-how.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any parts of that are the most difficult? You mentioned that you need the right people, you need the right development, and you need the right knowledge. Is any part of that more difficult than the other?
I'm not pretty sure what's more difficult than the other. Everything has his very own challenges, but definitely finding right people. For example, right now we are hiring, right? But we really, it's not that easy to find the right people, because you have to do a decision based on that man or woman if it's the right one. Because if we go with somebody, we want to keep them as long as possible, and therefore that's one kind of challenge. The second challenge is then really, okay, when we have those smart people, okay, how can we extend now the knowledge we have, and how can we bring added value to the customer? So, and that's totally different approach then, and totally different challenges on the table.
Thomas, for instance, I see a huge challenge, especially in the knowledge part. So the process mining itself, that's a part that I think anyone can handle after some time of practice and actually some real life implementations.
Yeah,
as we are dealing there with some SQL language and some general knowledge of programming. And I'm sure we will cover it in one of our future episodes with another of our colleagues. But what I was most fighting with, and what I thought that was the most challenging part, was the understanding not of the process mining technology itself, but of what we are implementing. Meaning
Mhm.
that I remember we very often went into the workshops with our customers, and suddenly you are talking business terms about real business ERP systems, which no school in the world prepares you for. So
That's
I
true.
personally found very, very challenging was actually the knowledge of all of those ERP systems, especially SAP. Is there some recommendation from you on how or where a person can actually obtain such a knowledge, or would you just say that it's something that just comes with practice?
That's definitely something that comes with practice, and also one very cool thing about this business, I would say, is that by doing those implementations, right? We what we do is we analyze the raw data, right? And the raw data, they're coming in by a front end decision, right? So you have business guys sitting in front of an IT system. They do certain decisions and they put those decisions into the system. And we see those decisions based on data. And then we build up the bridge between this data sets and results of analysis with the business, right? And you mentioned, okay, the first part, doing the technical side, is not that difficult. That's true. But building up that bridge then to the customer, bringing up the interaction. Okay, why are you doing that exactly in that way? There are eventually other ways that could work better. That's then something definitely that's experience, I would say. And that's the cool thing what I tried to mention, or I want to mention, is a cool thing about this business is that we have a certain differentiation between our consulting services and the typical consulting services consulting businesses are doing, because usually for the strategic management consulting companies, for example, you work for 1-2 years exactly for the same customer, right? And for the same key problem, right? And therefore you don't really learn that much. Looking on the process mining process implementations, or also to our consulting business, the cool thing there is that within 1 year, for example, you work with 5 or 10 different companies over 3, 4, 5 different processes. Therefore, having hands-on sessions with the customer is probably the best way to learn how the customer really thinks and works.
Yes, you won't get around the practice and just the experience.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Because also, for example, we are many times analyzing ERP data, right? And of course, in the university, you learn working with SAP or whatever. And of course, there you already gain the first insights how such a system works and why the people do certain decisions and so on and so forth. But you will never catch this knowledge in a course or in a therefore you really, or you go directly to such a company and work in a purchasing department for a year, for example. Then you really know why several things have been done in a certain way. Or you come from a data perspective like we do. We have a look at the as is and talk then to the people, to the business guys, why are you doing this in that way? And by doing this, you learn quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, data doesn't lie.
Exactly, that's true.
Thomas, we are slowly coming out of time. But before we do, we have 2 questions for you.
Yeah.
I would like to hear from you some story that from your own experience that went something very, very well, and then on the other hand that went very, very wrong.
A train wreck.
Okay, I have to think a little bit about it. But what went really well? There are a bunch of good projects we did. I would say the best projects ever are they where we do that are the main success criteria also for process mining implementation, right? It's a customer I cannot tell the name right now because we are right now in the reference contract, but a huge success case was, it's a chemical company. We came in, they had certain challenges because they are doing massive losses right now in the Corona time, right? They are really struggling from a business side, and they said, okay, process mining is really a strategic project or technology what we want to focus on, and hopefully it brings the results that we can optimize ourselves, that we can optimize the cash flow, that we can optimize the way we work in order to be more efficient in the future and to sustain this kind of crisis we face right now. So we came into the project, it was not long ago, it was in November last year, and they said, okay, A, we have to be very fast, and B, we need real business value. And we said, okay, we are pretty busy right now, but let's take this challenge, and we really want to support you there. Then we started immediately. The cool thing was there was the full commitment from the customer to work on it effectively, very pragmatic. And then we realized the process mining initiative within 4 weeks, right? We did 2 processes with 3 data scientists, so we've been really efficient. Then our business value department came in and built it up together with the customer in a small team, about 5 people, the main use cases. We found out, okay, there's a low-hanging fruit potential. Low-hanging fruit for us means this could be realizable within the next 6 months of 500K. And the customer committed to it as well. We set up action engine skills, so smart notifications based on the data analytics we did before. It's running right now. I had a call yesterday with the guy, and he said, yeah, we are already saving money because we are paying on time. We avoid too fast requested POs and so on. We have more buying power and so on and so forth. We are already saving money right now. Now we are tracking all those things. And after 6 months, we are going to draw a line to check, okay, what was the impact at the end? So that's really a success story at the end, I have to say.
I'm always very happy to hear such stories, and also being part of them makes me even more happy. And just to end on the light note then, what went wrong? Could you give a story about a project, something that went wrong, or some
just some train wreck?
What went wrong? So I remember one customer project we had 1.5 years ago, something like this. There we had good people on the project as well. We had a certain budget for the project as well. And there it was also our fault, let's say. What went wrong? It was a misalignment on the expectations, right? And building up the wrong expectations and making not sure that the customer really understand how our job works cost a lot of effort we had to put on top, and the customer was never happy. That means where the customer, we wanted to analyze the end-to-end purchase to pay process, for example. Yeah, and you know how process mining works. We need one central ID, right? One ID where we build up our data models. And we had a different interpretation of what end-to-end means, right? So the customer thought something completely different that we thought. And therefore, we have never been able to match his expectation within the short amount of time they purchased. At the end, we had to do a lot of invest from our side. We delivered not only one process in process mining terms, we delivered 4 processes, which cost a huge additional effort from our side, right? And so we tried to catch the expectations step by step from the customer, but we've not been able to reach that, right? So that's really a bad example we lived with, and therefore we changed also the way we structure our projects. So also coming back to the question of before, making mistakes, we try to change our way how we work with customers after each mistakes we do, and therefore today we have a completely different project approach, which is established pretty strongly now, but didn't work out back then. And that was really one main project, which was probably the worst project we ever did.
Wow. Okay.
Long story short, misalignment of expectation management.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds like a bit of a struggle.
Yep.
Well, I think that about wraps it up for this episode. So, thank you. I want to say thank you for coming on and sharing your insights and your experience and your history. And Jakub, as always, thank you.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you, guys. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. So we will hear you in next episode, Patrick.
Yep.
If any of you listeners have any questions, just feel free to write us an email on miningyourbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. And we're looking forward to the next episode with you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.